There's a moment every tech fan waits for, the point where early whispers start revealing a device that feels like it stepped out of next year. And the latest clues around the iPhone 18 Pro Max are doing exactly that. Not small tweaks, not boring refreshes. These are upgrades that quietly rewrite expectations. And one leak in particular changes everything. Welcome back, viewers. James here. Like, share, and subscribe for more. Let's jump straight into the good stuff, because the iPhone 18 Pro Max is shaping up to be the phone people skip their current upgrade cycle for. The first surprise comes from the design, and it's not the kind of change you notice at a glance. The frame is getting a touch thicker, not for show, but to house a noticeably larger battery. Apple clearly paid attention to the mixed reactions around the iPhone Air, and this time they're leaning into endurance instead of chasing ultra-thin silhouettes. That extra capacity also makes room for hardware that wasn't physically possible before. And those pieces start revealing the next big shift. Up front, Apple has been quietly testing a smaller island cutout to push the display even closer to a true full-screen look. The under-display Face ID prototypes are still in the labs, but shrinking the window already makes the iPhone 18 feel more futuristic than the jump from 16 to 17 ever did. The interesting part? This smaller cutout may help differentiate Pro and non-Pro models in a way Apple hasn't attempted before, but the biggest buzz is around the camera system. Because Apple's testing doesn't sound experimental anymore, it sounds intentional. A variable aperture main sensor is being prepped as the next flagship feature, not a long-shot concept. That unlocks smoother video in bright light, more control over depth, and a noticeable step up in clarity for night shots. And yes, there's a separate rumor about a massive new stacked sensor being evaluated for the Pro Max, which could push dynamic range and detail into a category Apple hasn't touched yet. All of this needs horsepower. And that's where the A20 and A20 Pro get interesting. Built on TSMC's first 2 nanometers process, this isn't the usual year-over-year bump. Expect cooler temps, higher sustained performance, and the kind of on-device AI improvements that make older chips feel outdated the moment you try them side by side. RAM is also being unified, meaning 12 GB across the board, finally removing the weird gap between base and Pro models. Connectivity is getting its own refresh too. Apple's C2 modem is testing extremely well, with better handoff, lower latency, and Wi-Fi 7 pushing everything into the next tier of speed. There's even talk of staggered launch dates, Pro models first, standard models later, which Apple hasn't attempted in years, hinting that the lineup is being rebuilt piece by piece. On the design side, the translucent look is reportedly off the table. Instead, Apple may shift to a seamless single-tone finish that blends the rear glass and frame into one unified color. Paired with deeper shades like burgundy or purple colors currently being evaluated, the phone could stand out more without relying on gimmicks and across the whole stack. From the base iPhone 18 to the Pro Max, we're seeing consistent upgrades, better displays, thinner bezels, larger batteries, next-gen wireless standards, and camera systems that feel meaningfully evolved rather than recycled. If you've been waiting for a generation that feels like a true step forward, the early signs point strongly to the iPhone 18 series. Drop a comment on which upgrade impressed you most, subscribe for more deep dives like this, and stay tuned because the next wave of leaks is on the way, and the story isn't over yet.